I think you should try these smelling salts.
Okay. Well, let's do it.
Helen
I'm
so graciously,
with it.
so graciously pointed
out.
out.
Be the one, son. I love you, though. Remember that before you.
So this is Yep. It's a great brand.
Wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Like literally.
But that's an old one. He's sending me actually a new bottle here pretty soon. It's on its way. So
what do you use it for normally, to work out?
Well, bodybuilders usually use it, like opens up their lungs, you know, like, I don't know. You might be able to explain it better.
Have you done it before? Or?
Yes.
That's what they say.
All right.
Just approach with caution.
Those are old, so it won't be too bad.
Oh, yes.
Get in there, man. Get in there.
Easy,
Try it out.
buddy.
Let me see. Ooh, yoo. What is this shit?
It's pretty much.
It's exactly that.
Yeah, it's pretty much ammonia.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
My eyes are watery.
Yeah.
Well, the very first time that somebody gave me that, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to kill DJ French.
Yeah.
He's the one that gave me that.
Wait till you get a fresh bottle, man. It gets crazy. Like, I'm talking about, there's some dudes that'll like run out of the room and just like
run around in circles.
Yeah,
and
like
crazy.
it's bad. It's really bad.
Who makes that?
Yep. John Ott makes it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
he's
wild.
good. He's been on the podcast before. He's
Really?
a cool dude.
He's got like supplements or what? Like he has some supplement line?
Yeah, he actually has a pre-workout. That one up there. It's that one's actually like a crunch berry or something like that, or I don't know. That's the best pre-workout I think I've ever had.
That tastes anything like that smells.
No, it doesn't. I swear to God, it doesn't. Usually, the pre-workout I usually drink is Bucked Up. Have you ever tried that? You ever tried Bucked Up?
I can't say I have.
I don't do pre-workouts.
You don't do pre-workouts?
Not anymore. I was hooked on.
I know they get addicting, don't they?
Lipodrin, the yellow pills with. But they had
ephedrine.
Ephedrine.
Yeah, ephedrine.
Oh, I was like candy, man. I would be 4 a day.
Ephedrine, what is that?
Oh God,
that was like
like the stimulant that makes you all prickly.
That was actually taken off market, right?
It was. You can get it again, but it's crazy because that gets your heart going like no other. So I just don't do any anymore.
How's the lifting though? I guess you get used to it, right?
It's good. You know, I don't. After cancer, for me, it's I have to be anything that is. I just kind of stay away from. Right. Just protein is about all I get right now.
And do you do like the powder, protein powder?
Yeah. It's stay away from anything that contains casein. Protein.
Right.
That was
very organic.
That was one of the common denominator. Yeah, the doctor told me that the cancer that I had is linked to casein protein.
Really?
So and casein is in every protein you eat, you know, and meat, chicken, and everything. You can avoid it, but the synthetic form of it is what he told me to stay away from.
Right. So that's cancer contributing, they say?
It is. It's one. He said, I'm not going to tell you that's what caused it, but it's a common denominator in it, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to, because I remember, do you remember when they said red meat caused cancer?
Correct.
Remember that big fiasco? Which really, I heard the studies that were actually being conducted, it wasn't just meat. It was like a hamburger. So it had bread and all this shit on it. It's like, well, how are you supposed to, you know, like if you're going to actually test these things, you have to process elimination, you know, like you can't have all this stuff together and then go red meat's bad.
I know.
You know?
Exactly.
So,
who knows?
And who does? I mean, there's a lot of there's always going to be debates and conflicting studies, and
that always changes too.
Yeah,
you know, a study comes out, and then all of a sudden later on, it
some
says
other smart guy comes out of Harvard and he comes up with his own stuff and
creates a new 88-page study.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So who knows?
Mitchell Thompson, that guy that wrote that Fireproof book right there, he's really pro carnivore diet because he has Crohn's. And they were trying to get him hooked on a whole bunch of pills. He's got a great documentary on YouTube. I keep telling him all the time.
Watch it.
Yeah, it's really good. I'll send it to you guys. Like Netflix worthy good. Like where he like records his doctor visits at North Kansas City Hospital and like
he's local.
Yeah, he's local. Yeah, he owns that gym. Don, show her your hoodie real quick. Combat Cardio, KC.
I have to go check it out.
Yeah, they're right here. They're right here on North Oak? North Oak Road. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know anything.
Yeah, do you know where that car wash is where you can order food right there?
Yeah.
He's right next to it where that indoor soccer
we need
field
to go
is.
check it out.
We have to, yeah.
Well, it's neat because what he does is, and I've always told him, like, I mean, he was smart for coming up with this. I mean, there's like 9 rounds and other gyms that do the same thing, but the way he's doing it where he gives like good nutritional advice with the working out
because of his own experience.
Because of his own experience. He lives it, and he had to deal with it, because if he didn't, he would have been on tons of prescription drugs. I mean,
and Crohn's is a debilitating disease. It gets you to the point that you just can't function anymore.
Right. And he does tend to have flare-ups occasionally, but like how much like when he changed his diet and started implementing all these I guess you'd say like new routines for himself, it really lowered a lot of it. And what's crazy is that the doctors told him that wouldn't help at all. I'm like, what?
Conventional doctors, they are against a lot of things. After I went through cancer, it put me into an early menopause.
Oh, really?
So my hormones died. So I had to wait 5 years after cancer. That's the way that you have to wait, the time that you have to wait. And I got on HRT. And my doctors were all against it. Like
hormone replacement
therapy. And they don't believe in it, but it's not they don't believe in it. It's because they don't have their hands in it.
Exactly.
Financially, they don't benefit from it. And so they don't recommend it. And I told my doctor, I said, I'm telling you because you're my doctor. You're my oncologist and you're my regular doctor. But if I'm going to live 100 years being miserable, bitch, I'm gonna live 50 and be happy.
Exactly.
My quality of life is important to me.
Yeah, same here. I got on TRT 3 years ago. It changed my life. I mean, my testosterone level was 213. 30-year-old man at 213. That's insane.
That is insane.
And a lot of people be like, well, you can increase that naturally. You can. But how much are we talking here?
And also what people don't understand, whenever sometimes I have my blood work done every 6 months at the clinic where I go for my HRT, and then I go for my annuals at the doctor. And my blood work is always, there's a discrepancy between the two. But they forget that we have a different lifestyle than other people.
Exactly.
They do different diets, different everything. So my cholesterol and my blood runs a little higher than what the doctor wants to be. But my doctor from the clinic says you're fine. You are within, and that's changed as well. What the
threshold
exactly the threshold has been changed just by some smart doctor somewhere. So I think that you just gotta find where you function the best,
right?
Because before HRT, I was going crazy. I lost it. Like mentally affected me greatly. My mental health was. I was about to check myself out. That's how bad it was affecting me.
It'll fuck with your head.
And I got on HRT and it was like, wow, what the hell do I want to die for again? I forgot.
Well, because they think that, so they'll label you in a category of these bodybuilders who are completely abusing these type of hormone therapies. There is. But there's a Goldilocks zone. And if you monitor that, like you said, by doing your blood work, getting with your hormone therapy doctor, and having them guide you on what you need, you'll be fine.
Well, it's your homework in life to find out what works for you.
Exactly.
Because it's not a cookie cutter that works for everyone. And so that's exactly what I just focus on, where I feel good. I still deal with a lot of things that I'm trying to figure out what it is. But for the most part,
But you're better than where you were at.
Exactly.
That's what matters. And that's what I try to tell people too. It's like, I'll have a lot of guys come up to me. They'll message me or call me and they'll be like, hey man, what are you doing that's changing you? You know what I mean? Because, people remember me in my 20s. I was a different individual. I didn't take care of myself. I was doing a lot of stupid shit. Mentally, I wasn't the same. Physically, I wasn't the same. And then they're seeing growth and change and they're like, man, I want that. And I tell people the first step to changing is this phone call right here. You calling me and and admitting that there's something wrong.
That shows that you know exactly that you need to change something.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Just don't know
That's
what
the first
it
step.
is.
It's almost like a drug user that, he's not going to change.
The addiction is the first step to recovery.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I tell them all the time, I'm like, hey, the second step to this, especially a lot of them are older, 40, 50, that call me, or even in my age, 30s, it's like, we're no longer 20 anymore, man. We're over that 30-year-old line. Like, you got to start taking a lot better care of yourself. And so I told them the first thing you need to do is you need to go get blood work done. You got to. That's, I think,
baseline.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that's
how
the
else
best
are
thing.
you gonna know?
Exactly, because then it's almost like whenever you have issues with your car. Like yesterday, I had my truck died at the Home Depot parking lot. The first thing, you try a bunch of things, tapping on the starter, looking at relays, looking at this and that. Battery, yeah. I went to go to get it charged. Still wasn't it. But wouldn't it be a lot better if you had one of those computers, those tablets that you can diagnose, you can hook right up, like kind of like an OBD scanner, but a lot better. And it could tell you exactly pinpoint where the issue is. That's going to be your blood work.
Stop guessing, yeah.
Yeah. And so with that information, then you can actually get, like when I went to NHR, Justin there, like he walked through my blood work, told me exactly what did I need. And there's even other options, not just testosterone therapy. They have other stuff. I think I was on a CJC 1295, I think it was, with epimorelin.
Yeah.
Like stuff like peptides that are great.
I want to try that.
Yeah.
Epimorelin, and there's another one.
BPC 157. Yep. That one's really good.
And everything. But, I don't know much. I just started to read about it. And I just want to make sure that that's not a...
cancer contributing,
any related to growth. It's not growth hormone.
No,
but it can increase your production of growth hormone.
Well, the CJC 1295 is a growth hormone. That was what I was on. See, I know.
I have to stay away from any growth, anything that causes growth, because if I have any cancer cells left, I'll be screwed.
Yeah, it'll rapid that growth. Yeah, and I don't know too much about them. You know what I mean? With people that have had cancer already, I do know that they say that could be one of the possible side effects. But they also say that about TRT as well. They said it can enlarge your prostate faster, stuff like that. So
the same with with the hormone replacement for women. Because estrogen is supposed to be that increases your chances of breast cancer in all the female, but my cancer wasn't related. It wasn't hormonal related. So
I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't food related. I'm sure you eat very well, but I'm sure you have your times.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And that's one thing. I love competing, and we talk about it, and he kind of worries about me. He goes, Mom, are you sure that you want to go, put your body through that again? And I still have the itch. I want to compete next year again. This year, it just wasn't possible for all the family situations and whatnot. But there's a point where it's not healthy.
Right.
Like those 4 months of grinding and exactly. It's not healthy. I know it. But I don't know. I want to push it. I want to do it at 60 again and see what happens.
That's the competitive nature in you, because all in all, bodybuilding's not really the healthiest thing.
No. But what I love about bodybuilding is the discipline of the sport, because that discipline and that, just like you said, it made me a very competitive person. I don't like to be in the shadows. I don't like to be behind anybody. I'm gonna be in the front. Yeah, that's just me. And
because in the end, it is just you. Like, your coaches and stuff like that are helping you, but it takes you to actually do it and be disciplined.
Exactly. It's when I became a part of the team for Guatemala. For the national team in my country, we talked about it, and the coach said, this is here in Guatemala, meaning in Guatemala, this is a team sport. Because, but individual, and I'm looking at him like, what the hell are you talking about? It makes sense. I'm responsible for my, my results, right? But team sport is because I don't decide where I compete, where do I go, when, and in what category I'm going to compete. So I competed in a figure for 15 years. And I go to the Olympic Games in Nicaragua, and the night before they tell me, you can't compete in figure. You got to move to women's physique. And I'm like, what the hell? I had to learn a routine, had to put a music together the night before. And
What's the difference between figure and
figure? You basically just pose, just the quarter turns, and that's it.
And
just
physique?
Physique, you have to have a routine to music and everything. So
okay.
yeah, it was quite a bit, but
the muscle tone also, right? Like there's a difference where
women's physique, you have a lot more definition and size, in quads and shoulders. Figure, they want more of they want the definition, but not so.
I see.
It's different in that side of the world than it is in America. Here, the bigger, the better, and that's why I was so blessed to be able to go and compete with my country. First of all, it has a complete different meaning. It's not about me,
right.
And I was the first international professional bodybuilder from Guatemala ever to win a gold medal for my country.
And the first woman, too.
And the first woman.
Oh, that's
And
neat.
so that opened, once I got going, it was just to see all the younger girls that wanted to, and now we have a team,
right?
Which is amazing.
And there's more women behind that are coming and actually, opened up doors for the sports in that category.
Yeah.
But I became a pro in the States. It took me 8 years to become a pro, and then when I was,
try not to hit the table.
I'm sorry.
No, it goes through the mic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when I became, when I went to Guatemala, they told me, we want you, but there's one condition. I'm like, what? You have to, I had to step down to amateur again.
Oh, really?
And I had to actually send all my paperwork to the IFBB and requested to be pushed back down to the amateurs.
Level. Really?
And I had to come in as an amateur and win my status again.
Huh.
So I did.
Well, since we're talking about this, let's kind of, I guess we were just started talking off the
I
right
know.
now. Trust me, you're on the right podcast for that, because that's what I do all the time.
Let's just take off.
Yeah. Well, I always tell people, when I started listening to stuff like this, I always enjoyed when you pop in your headphones and you listen to a show, I didn't know where it was going to take me. That's what I started to enjoy about podcasting, and so when, I'll get some comments from some people that enjoy it. They love, like, oh, dude, when I listen to your show, you guys will be talking about this, and all of a sudden you're talking about this. But then I'll have some kind of say, well, I wish you structured it more of like an interview. And it's like, but that's not me. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a person who is a professional interviewer. Like
free speech.
Yeah. All I do is, like, I'm that dude at the bar that would probably talk to you for 45 minutes. That's me,
Well, we can talk for days.
That's what I'm saying. So
and this one?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And so I always got joy out of that.
From somewhere.
So discussing this now then, you both are on because I'd like to hear your backstory, your story. We'll start with you first, and then just mother and son, so everyone knows. We'll start with you first. Kind of walk us through kind of childhood, and then leading up to kind of how you got into, I guess bodybuilding, right? So kind of walk us through how that was, where you're from, life down there, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, Helen Ortiz is my name. That's my birth given name. From Guatemala, a very small village. It's called Bananera. It got its name due to the banana plantation back in the day of United Fruit Company, Chiquita Banana.
Oh, really?
That's where everybody in the town pretty much worked at. That was the life, what everybody worked at in the banana plantations, including my father at the time. And so I had a very difficult childhood. I had a father who he was an alcoholic to begin with, and a lot of issues, a lot of mental issues. And, unfortunately, I was a victim of sexual abuse by my father for many years. That was a difficult life for a child, and he left finally when I was 13 years old, and I became a mother at a very young age. I had my son, and Guatemala, it's a, as you know, it's a very poor country. Guatemala doesn't have middle class. It's either you're rich or you're poor. Mm-hmm. And definitely we were not on the rich part. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I always have been ambitious in the good sense. You know, I always was a dreamer. I dreamed of a better life. For some reason, since I was a little girl, I had a infatuation with English. I wanted to learn. You know, I would get my hands on books in English, and I didn't know what the hell I was reading them right, but I just loved the sound of it. You know, I will read him.
Who first introduced you to that? Was there somebody, or just you came across?
No, I just came across it. And then in those days, I've heard, because of my infatuation with English, you know, somebody said, hey, do you know that there is a lady that she lived in our town, this a black lady. I remember Miss Berta. We call her Miss Berta. I don't know what she was doing in Guatemala, but she lived in Guatemala in a little house there with a lot of trees and everything. And she was teaching English out of her house. So I managed to go and take some lessons from her. And, you know, I loved it. I remember her giving me dictionaries and books and translate words and put the stories together. So that's what
right.
It was fun for me.
Right.
And I've always said when I was a little girl that I wanted to come to America and marry a gringo. It happened later on, but you know, then I had my son, you know, and I was my first boyfriend, my first love, and I got pregnant.
You just have one?
No, I have three.
Three? So
yes.
you the oldest?
I'm the oldest.
He's the oldest, yes. Okay. And so I got pregnant, and when I was 8 months pregnant, his father decided to leave Guatemala and come to America, supposedly to find a better life for us, you know, unborn child. You know, I was 8 months pregnant, so he's like, I gotta go now and try to do something so that we can give him a better future.
Right.
Well, quickly after that, he forgot about his mission, and he started, you know, do his own thing and play around, and forgot about it completely.
Started a new family up in America.
Pretty much, so. And so Dennis was born, and I was with my mom and my grandmother, and it was a very difficult life, because I would see my little boy and I would like, gosh, you know, he deserves better. I deserve better.
I couldn't even imagine though, like literally the person that you were with, that you know, are going to have a child with, they leave. I mean, that's hard enough.
It is.
You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't even imagine that.
When I was 8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you're like, well, he's got to do what he has to do for us, you know, and then just to disappear. Oh, my God. I mean, I can't even imagine what was going through your head.
So I stopped, you know, he stopped writing, calling, and he just disappeared. You know, he was born, and I was with my mom and my grandma. They were, you know, my rock, you know, they were there for whatever, you know, as much as they could be, to help me. And I tried to get different jobs, you know, working at I remember my last job there was working at a medical center, the only clinic in town, and I was making $50 a month. Oh my God. That was my salary, you know, and I barely could feed him, and I couldn't really provide anything for him, let alone for me. There was, you know, there was no way, there was no future, no matter which way I looked at it. Right. So when he was 2 years old, I told my mother, I have to leave. I have to go. I have to go and find a future for us, for all of us. And my mom was all against it. She's like, you know, there's so many stories that you hear of people coming across the border and whatnot. And I'm like, you know, I have to try it. And I had a friend from Nicaragua. She was exiled in Guatemala, from all the problems that were going on in Nicaragua at that time. And we became friends, and she was also a single mom with several kids. And we left together. She said, let's go. I have family in San Francisco. Let's go. And so I had $80 to my name. And I told my mom I'm going. You know, I say my goodbyes. You know, I will never forget his face, you know, looking at me like, he knew that something was going on, but he said goodbye, and I left.
I can't imagine that.
It was very difficult, leaving everything that everything you love, everybody you love, everything that you are accustomed to, and so we embarked in that travesty, and we came across Mexico on the La Bestia, the beast, the train that comes across with all the immigrants.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
So that was quite an experience. When you're going through it, you don't think about it. You just get on that train, and with thousands and thousands of people that you meet, all different stories. And, I remember we were taking turns sleeping, back to back. We will tie ourselves down with a belt so that we would fall off the train.
Oh, my God.
And without food, without water for days. It took us forever to get across Mexico, stopping in several places. There was a place in particular that there was a checkpoint, and everybody knows what's going on when you're on that train. There's people that have done it several times, people that are new, and so you just hear everybody whistling across the train. It's like, hey, there's a checkpoint out front, so it's time to jump off. And I'm like, what the hell, jump off? And yes, you have to jump off the train while the train is moving.
Oh, shit.
It barely slows down, and you got to jump off. And there's a lot of grass that is like super tall grass, and you just fall into the grass, and the train stops, and the police or whatever, the people that they come onto the train and start checking. They can pick out who is from Mexico and who isn't just by looking at them.
Yeah, or accent.
And they know that this happened. So, so we jump off the train and run. We try to run and get back on the train when the train starts running again. Some people makes it, some people don't. And that's when you hear about people dying, people losing their legs, their arms, whatever happens. So we got back on the train, and we make it to the border on the side of Calexico, Mexicali. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's closer to the California, San Diego area.
Oh, really?
And
I know our family's from Baja, California.
Okay. So not too far from that area. But so we get to the border and right on the fence. And you really just lined up. It's like you can see people forever along the fence, waiting for that opportunity to jump when the immigration patrol is, driving around, looking around. And there's a time that everyone jumps at the same time over the fence, and because that they will get some, but they can get everyone. So it's just kind of who gets lucky, who doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And I was one of the lucky ones, but my friend got caught.
Ooh.
And the reason we were coming here is because she had family in San Francisco. I didn't have anyone waiting for me.
Holy shit. So what'd you do?
Holy shit was it. So I got to the other side, and I see my friend get handcuffed and put in the on the vehicle to be taken away. And I'm like, what do I do now? I mean, do I turn myself in? Do I go back? And I'm like, hell no.
Yeah.
I haven't been through this for nothing. There's a reason why I made it, and I'm going to continue this journey until I see it through. Right. And I remember when I jumped the fence, I was running for dear life without looking back until I got to a restaurant, a building. I went in, and I found the bathroom, and I hid there for a while. I'm shaking. I didn't know what to do. I waited for a long time to come out, and I go outside, and everything is quiet. So I just got out, and I sat on the side of the door on the sidewalk. I was just like, what do I do? I'm exhausted. I'm hungry. I'm sick. I'm broke. I have no money whatsoever. And I remember this couple coming out, this family coming out of the restaurant, which I knew later on that it was a Pizza Hut. I never had pizza in my life. They took a look at me, and they felt sorry. I don't know how I looked, dirty, hungry. And they gave me their leftovers. And like I said, I never had pizza before. That I fell in love with it. It was so great. So I had a phone number with me of a friend. We went to middle school together. Mm-hmm. His mother lived in California, and she sent for him long before. But we kept in touch by, he used to write me letters, and then we just kind of, just didn't talk for a long time. Mm-hmm. But I had his phone number, and for some reason I brought it with me in a piece of paper in the little backpack that I had with me. And I wanted to call him. I didn't know how. I didn't know how to use the payphone. So I asked for help, and I called. Somebody placed a call for me, and it was his mom who answered the phone. And I'm here explaining, hey, this is, Helen, my mom and my grandma are so-and-so. Do you remember me? And she's like, oh, yes, of course I remember you. Where are you? And I told her what just had happened. I just made it across the border. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have anywhere to go. And she says, my son comes home about 4. Can you call back then? I'm like, I'm going to see what I can do. Mm-hmm. And so I just sat around, until 4 o'clock came and called back. And he was already waiting for my call. And he drove from L.A. all the way to Calexico, which is, I don't know how long it is. I've forgotten, but it's quite a bit. Mm-hmm. A good drive.
Probably 6 hours?
5 Probably hours? So, yeah. And so he came to pick me up, and, and we drove to L.A. And he took me to his house and, helped me, fed me, helped me to look for a job. And I did, several jobs from cleaning houses, washing cars in parking lots, cleaning hotel rooms.
What year is this?
This was in 1986.
Okay.
1986. Okay. I remember the minimum wages, there was $3.25.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Remember that? No, you don't remember that. I don't remember that. You're too young for that.
Yeah, I was about to say, when I started working, I think minimum wage was $6.35.
Where were you born? What year?
92.
Okay, so you were 4 years old when I was running around from border to border. So in LA, working, doing what I can to survive, and and try to let my family know that I made it after I left Guatemala April 23rd, I remember, because it was my sister's birthday. Mm-hmm. And I didn't make it until June something.
Damn.
We had to stop in a few places, and we had in Mexicali. We had to work for a while to make money to eat.
To get
and to continue our journey.
How was it going across the Mexican border? I always heard the Mexican border was worse than the United States border.
Oh, yes, it is. Mm-hmm. There's so many people that get, women especially, that get, taken advantage of by the coyotes, the guys that you pay. We didn't pay anybody. We were just watching and learning and asking questions. And, it was hard, but we didn't have no harm was done to us, We met a lot of good people on the way, so many stories, so many. And I always, whenever I talk about this, they call it a train of death. But for me, really, I didn't even think about it. It was the train of my dreams. Mm-hmm. I was coming after my dreams, and that was the way to it.
Right.
So I was, I don't know, in a way, I was sad to have left my family behind, but excited about the possibilities.
Well, another thing too, if we could backtrack, I wanted you to get a big portion of that story out before I started to come back. Also too, I thought that stand was in your way, so I'm over here like texting him, hey, is this stand in your way right now? Sorry. Yeah, not a professional at all.
It's okay.
What was I going to say? Oh, having at the initial beginning, dealing with your father and what you had to go through on that, horrible. I've talked to many women that have the same stories. Mm-hmm. And I always talk about, I'm a big, I don't know what word I'd use, but supporter of victims that have been, people that have been through stuff like this.
Compassionate about
it. Yeah,
because
I've seen it tear lives up. I've seen women still to this day who cannot get their life together because they still hold on to that, what happened.
Yes.
And so to me, it's almost like as if it's a a cancer or a disease that's given to another individual, and it's
right.
horrible. And you know, one big thing that I tried, and I know it's easier said than done, but like, have you ever read The 4 Agreements?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I have.
Yeah, it's a good book, and I'm trying to go. It's been some years since I've read it, but there was a chapter when it discussed holding on to like being upset with an individual or being upset with
hatred.
Hatred,
It'll
yes.
eat you.
Yeah, it's
inside.
like a poison, it says, inside of you. And you're not doing anything to that other individual. You're not doing anything to whatever you're upset about. It's
to
only
yourself.
Hurting you and killing you slowly. You know, as we know, you know, I think, you know, one of the biggest contributors to a lot of the possibly cancers, possibly strokes, stuff like that is stress.
Yes.
You know, the amount of stress we build up in our bodies.
Yes.
Yeah. And I deal with it as well. I'm not saying I don't, but I try to check myself and alleviate that, you know, as soon as I start to recognize it. But that's something, you know, when another individual does that, it's probably the most difficult thing I've seen, you know, people go through, you know, to try to get that out of them, you know, to try to strip themselves, that's no longer their identity,
Absolutely.
you know? And so kind of where I'm going with this is do you feel like, and I know you had a mother as well, who I'm guessing you guys had a good relationship, or was it kind of, you know,
the relationship with my mother was good. She worked a lot. She was a nurse. And my mother was good. Just the
only reason I ask is because I've seen a lot of people hold grudges towards the mother because a lot of the times they knew or they didn't do anything they feel they didn't do anything to protect them.
Did you talk to him about it before?
I did not.
No, but I have a lot of family members and friends who have been through it.
You're absolutely right. And up until this day, you know, we talked about it a lot. I have a lot of resentment towards my mother. Now, I'm a mother, and he can tell you, I know when there's something wrong with my kids, even if they don't tell me.
Right.
They send me a text and I'm like, what's wrong? When it's a part of you, you are in tune with it. And I have this thing with my mother unresolved that, I mean, like, if you knew, shame on you. And if you didn't, shame on you.
Right.
How can you not know that your little girl was being sodomized and raped with a gun to my head by my own father?
That's crazy.
For 4 years? How can you not know? Couldn't you see me? Couldn't you see my pain?
Yeah.
You know, but I guess, I don't know, you know, it's something
that older, do you think it's that older generation of just like under the rug?
It's a taboo.
Or maybe it happened to your mother as well, or, you know, you just, I don't know.
Well, I can tell you my father was a very sick individual, talking about it bluntly. He was 28 when he married my mom, 14. So right there is a red flag.
Right.
You know, and then when he married my mother, he tried to make a pass on his mother-in-law, on my grandma, and on my aunt. So that's the reason why I am it upsets me, because I'm like, you already had a precedence of this, my father being a sick in the head individual, and how did you trust me with him? You know what I mean?
And has she never had a conversation with you about it?
No, my mother is very she doesn't.
Yeah, engage in that way.
Engage, you know, she's never been a really loving, nurturing kind of mother. Maybe disengaged too much to feel my pain, or to see what's going on. I don't know.
Or to feel the pain at all, you know, because it does, you have to, you know, in order to heal, acknowledge the history.
Right.
You know, but it's painful. It really is. And some people, I don't know that they're emotionally capable of doing that, especially back in those times, in those generations.
In the small town.
They didn't have concepts like mental health. They didn't have, you know, they didn't know any of this, you know,
but they knew wrong.
They knew right. They knew wrong.
Right.
But there was a lot of machismo also, you know, very prevalent in Latin America. And women were marginalized, you know, in our, you know, bloodline. She became pregnant at a young age. My grandma became pregnant at a young age, and so did my great-grandma. So it was just like this repeated pattern. It was just this repeated pattern, and they were all young, you know, teenagers being parents. And so what can you really expect from a teenager to be able to care for another. It's like children taking care of children.
No, I know. I was 18 when I had my first child. And, you know, it's like the things I think about how I was passing down, you know, bad habits from, you know, my parents. Yeah. Like my parents, you know, they're good parents, but they made a lot of mistakes as well. And then it's like you're trying to weed that out. But when you're 18 years old, you don't know how to weed that out. You're still a kid.
Still developing.
Yeah, still developing. Growing. You don't know how to be able to look at yourself in the mirror to be able to change these things because you're not thinking about that stuff, you know? So to see me now as a 33-year-old father and then go, you know, from a 18-year-old father, I mean, it's night and day, you know, but it took a long time. And I've discussed this many times. Podcasts helped me out a lot to be able to help strip all those bad things away from me.
And it's by talking about it.
Yeah.
And, you know.
But one thing I never understood, I'll never fucking understand this, how you can look at your daughter and do something like that to her. I don't get that. I don't understand how you could even get off on that, how you could take somebody who's sitting there and your little girl.
Defenseless.
Yeah. And looking at you because you are her protector.
And you know that and the little girl knows that it's wrong.
And you strip that away from her, that innocence, that, you know what I mean? Taking, you know, and it's fucking wrong. And what upsets me the most is, and I understand that's your father, but you'll probably agree with me on this, that those people should be killed. I'm sorry. It's something that I've never seen anybody rehabilitate from. I've never seen a success story of, oh, I'm sorry. And really, I don't want that because you already messed up somebody's life, you know, because it's going to be very difficult for them to heal from that.
And like I said, he did it to my mother, tried to do it to my grandmother, to my aunt, and then he did it to me.
Yeah. But what pisses me off, I just heard a story about one of my buddies told me his friend got 30 years for dealing cocaine.
But if you're a pedophile, you get 2.
Yeah.
And you get out.
Or probation.
Exactly.
Or nothing at all.
Right.
I've seen many cases where I've seen people go and tell the cops, and there's not enough evidence, which I get. I understand we have that because you'll have people
make
lying.
Up like
exactly
in domestic disputes, they use that
divorce,
as
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I totally get that. But man, the amount of people, even on this show, that I've had conversations with that have worked for these organizations that help these young children or adults that have suffered through when they were children, it's scary. It's alarming. Yes. Tim Tebow has been on a lot of episodes and he's talked about it. I mean, they put up a map of like child pornography that's consumed in America and they'll have red light, like dots. It's everywhere, man.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
That's
you know?
If you go and check a neighborhood and you want to see if there's
the sex offender
the sex
locator.
offenders is like a Christmas tree lights.
I know.
It's
crazy. And you know, I always try to educate my daughters on this, you know, it's not always they're not always scary. Monsters are not always scary. Sometimes they're the most friendliest, nicest people to you.
It's the people closer to you.
And family members.
Exactly.
And that's why you have to, I always tell people, man, like, and I see a lot of these, like, now that my kids are older and they'll have friends over, people will just drive by and drop them off. And it's like, I've never met you. And you're leaving them at my house. You don't know who I am. You don't know who lives in this house. You need, like, parents need to do a lot better at fucking, you know, monitoring
that. Right. That. If you
know?
can't even trust your own father, how can you trust somebody else?
Exactly.
You know,
But, you know, it's like, I you know, it's crazy that you say, you know, people like that should die. But interestingly enough, he did take his own life.
Oh, did he?
He hung himself.
Oh, shit.
But it was years later. Yeah. And it wasn't because he repented. You know,
or felt guilty.
Whenever you want to get into that, I'll tell you my experience with him as a grown woman after I was a mother. When I run into him here in the States again. So I'm in LA. You know, unfortunately, I get back with his father. He knew that
Fortunately, because my brother's here because of it, too.
I guess so. Yeah. So
that's probably a hard one for your brother.
So we get back together.
Subject.
He walked away from his fiance and came back to me. And I got pregnant right away. You know, so I had 4 months. I was 4 months pregnant with his brother when I introduced one of my good friends to him, and she was such a good friend that she decided to help herself to keeping him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they literally, I was kicked out of the house when I was 4 months pregnant, and I'm basically homeless.
And it was your friend?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my friend and his father. And
they're actually still married to the day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
God damn.
So
You've been through a lot, woman.
Yeah.
So you've been through a lot.
When I'm out there homeless with my plastic bags and I'm, random people are helping me, I was I needed family so bad. I felt like, that feeling.
Well, that's probably why you went back to his
to
father.
Correct.
To what she knew.
And probably you felt too like, damn, he's up here. Naturally, we haven't, like you were probably trying to make it seem right in your head.
That he was going to be better, and then I got praying that I'm like, now he's going to meet his son. We have 2 sons. Things will be okay. Right. But no. So they kicked me out of the house. They stayed together. And my father lived in California at that time. And somehow, because our community there, even though LA is so big, it's a small community that everybody knows everybody's business. So he found out that I was homeless and I needed help. He came out of the blue. That was the first time that I saw my father. This was, he left when I was 13 years old. And by then I was pregnant with Christian.
20?
Yeah. And he came out and he said, you need help. I'm here to help you. I have a house. I have a job. I'm going to help you. You don't have to be homeless. Let's go to my house. In my mind, I'm like, this is a way of him
redeeming himself
for what he did to me. And he took me to his house. He bought me clothes, food, gave me a room. And a few days into that I'm at his house having dinner one day, and he looks at me and like something so normal said, I think that we should get married.
What the fuck?
Exactly my point. What the fuck?
That's crazy.
I looked at him and I said, you know what? You are a sick individual. Shame on me for believing that you could be my father that I need so much. And there I go, back in my bag, my plastic bags again, pregnant, and get out. And got help from people that I didn't know. I mean, I met a group of guys. They took me under, they were like my big brothers, 4 of them. My son was born under one of their insurances because I didn't have a way to go. And that's why my son, his is Dennis Ortiz, and my son is Aguilar because my friend's last name was automatically put on the birth certificate at the hospital. Shit. And I didn't want to get in trouble. We didn't want to get in trouble, so we left it alone.
Shit,
so that's how that happened. But I owe that guy a lot more than I owe his real father. So I think that I will want that last name before the other one anytime.
Right.
But, that's how sick my father was.
So why did he end up taking his life? Why did did he leave a letter or anything?
Well, so I left, and it was so crazy how the life, happens.
Back full circle,
I got back on my feet. My son was born. I was okay. I had a good job. I was taking care of myself, my son, and everything. Out of the blue, I received a phone call, and they asked me if I'm, are you so and so, and are you related to? And I'm like, yeah, he's my father. And he's like, well, he had you on the list of next of kin or whatever, I'm like, okay, what's going on? So he used to have a really good job working at a manufacturer for airplanes. He was very intelligent man. That guy could figure out and learn any trade. He was very smart. So long story short is that he fell from a very high distance working on a plane, and the plane the door fell behind him and smashed him. Like he was almost dead, but he didn't die. And so ironic. He needed when he made it, but when he was being discharged, he couldn't be alone. So guess what?
He called you.
I had to take him to my house and take care of him.
Oh my God.
Nurse him back to life. But God has some ways of working things out. I had hated my father for so long, all those years. That hatred that I felt that we were talking about, it was eating me inside. It was bad. I had this nightmares. I was so unhappy thinking about everything that happened. And I remember I used to cry and ask God I need to forgive this guy somehow. Please help me to forgive him and go on with my life. And that was the way of God answering. Put him on my bed, my own. I gave him my bed to sleep on. And he was defenseless. And he was depending on me. You see where I'm going with this? I saw him like, motherfucker, you will never hurt me again. You never hurt me again. You're in my hands right now. He made it, and he got a lawsuit. He got a lot of money. When he was back on his feet, he bought a brand new truck. Didn't even say thank you, $5 for your help. He left. Oh my God. Moved back to Guatemala. He was older then. I don't remember how old he was.
60, I think, somewhere in the 60s.
He goes back to Guatemala and he marries an 18-year-old girl.
Oh, God.
The girl has a heart attack a month after he married her. He literally had his money in the mattress. Like, literally. Hurricane Mitch hit in that time, in mudslides washed everything off in the town. With his money, his house, all his possessions, he was left homeless on the street.
Oh, shit.
My mother used to feed him out of pity. And he killed himself not because he regretted anything.
Because he lost
because
everything.
He couldn't live like that. And they found him hanging in a tree in an open lot somewhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was the end of his. But I forgave him before all that happened. I forgave him. We never talked about it. But I did. I felt at that moment when I saw him laying in that bed that he needed me. I'm like, you will never hurt me again. And something lifted off me. And I'm fine. You know, I mean, there's moments that I think about it. And I don't know that you can 100% be okay when something like that happens to you. I mean, I really remember sometimes I even feel the cold gun on my head, you know, when he would do things to me and he would say, if you say anything, I'll kill you, you know, and that's kind of for life. I'm going to, that comes in and out of my head.
Well, that too. And also what they don't understand is when you take that from an innocent child, when they grow up, a lot of the times they go two directions. They go very promiscuous or they're very reserved, like to where they don't have a connection to any sort of sex with another individual because of what happened to them. And so what that causes is it breaks up families after that because let's say this individual gets with a guy, you know, and wants to have a relationship with them, but yet the intimacy is not. It's not. They can't connect on that because she can't connect because of what was done. Yeah. And so then he feels like, what am I doing? Is it me? Is it, you know, like, and then all of a sudden over time, you know, they're fighting, you know, they're not able to connect how they should.
Yeah.
And then they end up, you break up a family. Maybe they had a kid together, maybe, you know, so it not only hurts that person, but it hurts everybody around.
It's a ripple effect forever. Yeah.
Exactly.
For me, I guess it wasn't, you know, I could have ended up in many other different ways as messed up as I was. But I think that being a mom, you know, I really took that role seriously, and I knew that I needed to be okay and do right by my children, and that was the number one thing. And I never, I don't know, I can't tell you that affected me in that way, but I do remember some time in my life where I would have to take a shower fully clothed. Because I remember that my father would make holes in the wall to look when I was showering, and I caught him several times. So I never took my clothes off to shower. It took me a long time to get over that and to know that it's not happening again, you know. And I think that that's what I tell people in all the things that I do and everything when I speak about it in different places is that it happened, but it will not happen again. You know, you were not allowed that to happen again.
Right.
And I don't know, God has given me the strength that I really believe that everybody has the ability. Is just what do you do and how do you tap into it? You know,
I know that's one thing I don't think there's a copy and paste. It's going to be probably different for everybody, right? You know, but I wish there was, man, because there's so many people, you know, women and men as well, that are going through the same thing, and it's just. You know, the only thing I can think of is listening to stories like yours and seeing examples of people that are honest, like you. You said you still go through your stuff, but you're better than what you were. You
absolutely.
are working towards, and that never stops, you know?
No.
Like even now, I'm sure you're still working towards stuff.
Yeah.
It just, you have to. You have to keep the mind busy.
I might be watching a movie. I called them one night. You know, I was watching a movie and what was going on in the movie pissed me off so bad. I started crying.
Triggered? You get triggered? Yeah.
And I called them and I said, I really, you know, you think that you're over it. You're never going to be over it. But I know how to handle it. I know what the triggers are. And I know more than anything, I know who I am. And I know that I will never allow anyone to hurt me.
Right.
In that, not in that way or any other way. You know. So.
Yeah. No. And what I try to tell people to give them, like what I do, you know, is I think of myself as all the things that I do, whether it's jiu-jitsu, working out, podcasting, riding motorcycles, or whatever it is, listening to music, or these are tools that you put in your tool belt. You know what I mean? And these are the things that you use whenever you're going through something to be able to help alleviate that pain or alleviate that trigger that you're feeling, you know. But you can't just think, it's over now, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Unfortunately, even if you didn't go through something like what you went through, even if it's just something like what I deal with, I get down, you know, I get into a rut. There's a lot of things that, you know, I've experienced through my life that have affected me and that I still deal with to this day. But I've noticed from 10 years ago and now, I deal with them a lot better, you know, and how you should.
Exactly.
But like you said, it's not going to stop.
No.
You just have to be able to acquire. You have to find things. You can't go home. You can't just be on your phone. You can't just watch TV.
Have to be intentional.
You have to have these things and put them in place when you need them in order to alleviate that, triggerness.
And the gym has been key for me. You know, fitness, the gym, you know, competing wasn't always my goal. It was, I started going to the gym out of, you know, I'm not going to say by accident. Nothing happens by accident.
When did you start?
Oh, gosh, I lived in Oklahoma. What year was that? I was early.
She was like 35 years old when
I
you
was
started?
35 when I started.
She started kind of late.
Okay.
Yeah, I never set
when
foot
she
in the
started,
gym.
it was just...
You know, but it was, I used to do cardio like a crazy
like
woman.
Running a lot?
No, the Stairmaster.
Oh, okay.
I will stay on that sucker until I burn. In my mind, all I knew is I'm going to do between 1,000 and 1,200 calories every day. I was, you know, skinny.
That the image that women used to have is the skinnier the better, right? Yeah.
So, but that's how I got into the gym and working out. It was what it did for me mentally, you know, and I always say now that my life is faith, family, and fitness.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's another fourth F there that if it's necessary, I'll put it in there.
You need that sometimes.
A lot lately, seems like. But no, you know, so that's how and the way I look at things like this, you know, I try to do analogies in my mind that work for me and share them with other people. So fitness is something, you know, exercising is something that helps me. And community engagement and helping other people.
You found your people.
I did. I love, you know how many women I have been able to impact through talking about it.
Oh, I'm sure.
They come privately, you know, thank you for talking about that. I'm going through this. This happened to me. Can we talk privately? And it's, even if it's one to a handful of women that you can
impact.
That's better than zero.
Absolutely. And I always say things like this is, a lot of people you have a wound, you have an accident, you have something that you're trying to heal, and you want to keep it covered with, you know, whatever. You put Band-Aids on it and keep it covered. It's not going to heal. You need the air. You need to expose it in order to heal.
Yeah,
in a scab.
Don't hide it. Yeah.
Exactly. And then once you get the scab and that falls off, you're always going to see that skin is different in the rest of your body, but it healed. But it's a reminder of what happened. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. You know, if you ask me, would I change anything in my life if I could? It might sound stupid to say no, but it's made me the person that I am now.
True.
You know, and I am thankful for the good, the bad, and the ugly that God has given me. And I don't think that I would want to change the person that I am now. And if that's what it took, if my pain had purpose, then it was worth living it.
Yeah, I've always noticed the people that have been through some of the most difficult lives usually tend to be the most interesting people, and it sucks that has to happen in order for that, for you to meet those people. But I mean, life is, a roller coaster,
it's
man.
Like you too, if you don't have your testimony, how can you be?
Yeah.
No,
you're right.
A testament for anybody. You need a testimony.
Yeah. You got to be able to go through it. Yeah. I completely understand.
And it seems like God gives stronger people.
Yeah. And although I wish that things like what we just discussed between you and your father wouldn't happen.
Absolutely.
But I admire that you don't make it your identity. I'm not saying you don't go through it, but through your times.
Or keep that victim mentality the entire life.
And I know that sounds insensitive to people to say, but that is what it is.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
And we see it a lot.
Yeah.
We see it a lot all over the world right now. It's, if you disagree with me, you're wrong. I'm the victim. If you don't believe in what I believe in, you're wrong. I'm the victim. Or I went through this. I'm the victim. Worship me. You can't do that, man. We're all going through shit out here.
And especially
some different levels than others.
The new generations.
Oh, yeah.
It's even worse. It's like they made out of glass, crystal.
Sometimes I feel like, discussing mental health is good, but sometimes the pendulum swings too far to the other side to where it's like,
that's
damn,
all
you're focused on. It's almost like as if you go to therapy, yet you're not truly healing. You're just going to talk to the therapist.
Reliving. You're just
reliving it every single time. Or even me, I have a tendency to like or share very dark Instagram posts, that kind of how I'm feeling, or I know others are feeling, they may need it. But now my algorithm is constantly keeping and throwing it in my head every single time. Remember this? Remember this?
Social media, it's great, but it's also could be it's a danger zone. For the people that don't have a strong mindset,
mental fortitude.
You go through it. There's things that you need to put out there in the moment you're feeling like that, but then you turn around and you bounce back and you're like, this is who I am. That's not,
Yeah, I don't look at it and go, well, I'm not going to work out anymore now. You know what I mean? Or I'm not going to go do this. Or I'm just going to self-loathe and just sit in my bed and just, cry myself to sleep. Right. You can't do that,
Or, the way I have told some women this, and I told that myself so many times, is like, why am I going to let what my father did to me dictate my life?
Exactly.
He's burning in hell now, and I'm here. I have a life to live. Why am I going to give you? I'm not going to give you that control anymore.
I always say that little girl that was you at one point would have wanted you to live how you want to live right now, which is
exactly
fearless.
What I'm doing right now.
Yeah. And it's amazing for real because, I every time I hear my mom's story, I get emotional. I really do. It just lands differently with me to just think that she has experienced all of that, and, and that's why I think I'm probably her number one I push my mom's story more than anything, man. And I feel like people need to hear it. I believe in it, and I've sort of made it my mission to make sure people know, and so we've been working together, and I do a lot of her, personal branding management and things like that, because I think it's, it's an inspiring story that people need to hear, and we've been in this journey trying to, get engaged in the community, figuring out a way to be of value. And, she's got a platform called Healing with Helen now, also podcasting and things of that nature. So we're really trying to take this to another level.
Okay.
And turning all of this family tragedy into something that is actually worth doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's what we're doing right now.
And changing the narrative.
You're opening up your mind in a sense, almost for others who have possibly been through the same thing, that can have someone to look up to be like, oh, it's not over. It's not like it's done. I can triumph above this.
It's incredible, man. Like, you know, when we look at our family history, there's so much tragedy in it. And we don't have no point of reference of success. So everything that we're doing right now, this is all brand new to us. Right. This is all brand new and things that we didn't even know was possible what we're doing, you know. But there's a theory, they call it in Spanish, it's called La Teoría de la Ventana Rota. It's like the theory of the broken window. So when you are born in an environment where there is just no resources, poverty, and you know, and tragedies, like that you can't even envision the possibilities. Like you can't even register, you know, and it's taken a lot of years, a lot of like just work on ourselves to be able to tap into a vision that where we're actually abundant and healed, and we can create something, you know, a different reality, not just for ourselves, but for those that are coming before us. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like my girls, you know,
my other sons, daughters.
Yeah.
And
how many kids do you have?
I have 2 girls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel you on that, man.
Yeah. My other son has 6 kids altogether.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
I've got 2 daughters. I got a 15-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Wow.
So. Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah. I grew up with 4 brothers, so I had to learn the female side of things. So.
Yeah, we're different.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, no, and I was the opposite. I grew up with nothing but women. Yeah,
oh, really?
And the household where we were, you know, grew up, it was 7. My great grandma raised 7 of us. Right, and Mama Tila, you know, she I feel like was a influence in our lives till this day. She was a strong woman. She was very kind-hearted, and she's probably the
but
big
badass at the same time.
But badass, yeah. She took no shit, and I feel like that she influenced us in so many ways. But she raised 7 on the bus, and I was the only male she raised.
Oh, really?
You know, and so and I was actually the last one she raised. After you know she raised me, she passed, that's actually who I was left with. It was with Mama Tila when she came north. You know, I was 1.5 years old, and she took me at that age. And you know,
how long did she?
She raised me until I was 14.
We didn't see each other for 12 years.
Holy shit!
Because I was here illegal, you know, and I couldn't. So while
and back then it wasn't like FaceTime; you could just hop on and
letters and occasional calls.
And maybe. I remember. I was in LA. Are you familiar with LA at all?
I've been there a couple of times.
So there is a place called MacArthur Park. MacArthur Park is famous for a lot of shady stuff.
Yeah. A lot of gangs.
And I remember that when I first got to LA and I wanted to call my family and let them know I was alive, she said, "Okay, we're gonna take you to MacArthur Park to buy some numbers." Okay, so they used to give me this serial number. I had no clue what it was. I would pay $20 for it, and I can call from a payphone Guatemala for hours. Well, now I know that wasn't all right, but you know, I didn't know. That's what I bought my first Social Security number too. And I used to sucker for many years until I became legal. I didn't know any better. But so yeah, that's how I, you know, calling him. And so we didn't see each other for all those years.
And on that end, we didn't have a phone at the house. It was a local phone company that she would have to call, schedule a date and a time.
And they will send somebody in a moped to let them know that they had a call at 2 p.m. So be there on their little kiosk
on this date at this time, and you get an opportunity. And so I mean, the times that we talked were very handful of times, and it was mostly letters and pictures that I would know of my mother. You know, I remember this one picture she had. She looked so beautiful. She had this long curly hair, and I just and I was the one thing I knew of my mother, you know. It was like I just knew she had this sort of like angelic look. And I was always intrigued, and you know, and I longed to meet her, you know. And I did meet her when she was when I was 12 years old.
Oh, okay.
She came, by that time she
No,
had
you were 8.
Was I?
No, 12.
I was 12.
Yeah,
I was
and then
12.
took another 2 years before
Yeah.
you finally could fly out and come here.
Yeah.
So did you end up going back down there, or did?
Gosh, so I was here all these years illegal, right?
Right. Yeah.
Working different jobs, like I told you, cleaning cars.
Legal
here.
or illegal?
Illegal.
Illegal. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was working. I remember. I have to tell you a story really quick. I was on Rodeo Drive and Beverly Drive in Beverly Hills, washing cars in a car wash. I mean, in a parking lot. There was a group of us that will drop us off there, and people knew just that's what they want to wash your cars. And I'm this young girl, shy.
That's probably a long line there.
Well,
a long line of cars.
Well, this car came. It was what I know now. Right there, I didn't know it. This great convertible Mercedes, and there's a black guy that comes out of this African American guy, very handsome, and he's looking at me and he's smiling and trying to talk to me, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell he's saying. I don't speak a lick of English. And then another girl that had been here for a little while longer, she says, he's asking you if you need a ride home, and I'm like, no, I take the bus. And he's like, he wants to know when you get off work and he can come back. And he's like, all happy. And I'm like, no, leave me alone, you know. It wasn't until much later when I'm watching TV and I see the black guy that was trying to pick me up. It was Eddie Murphy.
Oh, shit.
Dude,
Really?
I missed out. Yes.
I feel like I've seen this. Did you say this story on...
Yes,
yeah, it was
yes,
on,
yes.
Indelible.
Indelible Mark? Yeah, I thought I had seen that.
Yeah. And my son, Christian, you know, he's very funny. He says, Mom, I can't believe that I had the chance to have Eddie Murphy as a stepdad and you blew that.
That's crazy.
But, it's, you know, you don't know, you know. So then I got a steady job working in a candy store, making candy in Santa Monica, California. But then they came up with that law that if a business owner had an illegal immigrant working for them, they will be in trouble. They will be fined $10,000 per person, and they could go to jail and blah blah blah. So the lady that I worked for, she was very sweet, very nice. She had become very. She loved me, you know. I was a good worker, so she's like, Helen, what can we do? I can't have you here illegal. We need to do something. What can I do to help you? Well, and that's another education piece for a lot of people in America, you know, that they judge, you know, why do they come here illegal? Why can't you just get paper? Well, it doesn't freaking work that way.
Yeah, no, it's a long process.
Well, and you...
takes money, sometimes property.
And not just that. Every country has different programs. And if your country doesn't have any program that you can apply for, you just can't go and say, hey, I'm here. Can you, you know, it just doesn't happen that way. But anyway, so she said, I can have you here until you have your papers. What can I do? So here I am again without a job. And so unfortunately, I fell into the wrong hands, you know, and I don't know if you've heard this also. We talked about that with Indelible Mark. I was a victim of human trafficking for a while.
Oh, man.
I was taken to Patterson, California, the strawberry fields out there. A group of us, and they literally had us captive in a motel room. We will get up early in the morning to go work in the strawberry fields. We were fed a couple of times a day, taken back. We had people with guns and stuff watching us at the door. And then at that time, you know, things happen again. Right. You know.
It wasn't just work. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until almost 9 months when I managed to escape. But once again, it seems like every tragedy has had a blessing for me. Because of what I went through, I found a loophole in immigration to apply for my citizenship.
Oh, really?
You know, so that's how I became legal in the country. And it's when I started working on claiming him to come join us. And it took me a long time. They would not. I would apply for the papers and they would deny him because I wasn't financially stable enough to be able to take care of him and afford him. And they didn't want to bring another person to be in the system, you know, and da-da-da. So it wasn't until I met my ex-husband. He was American, white boy.
Mm-hmm.
Remember I told you I was going to marry a gringo when I was a little girl, so I did. And he was from Kansas City, and we met in L.A. And
he was a manager at the Bonaventure.
He was a manager, project manager at the Westin Bonaventure Hotel.
Oh, really?
And you were cleaning rooms there at the time?
Yeah, I was cleaning rooms at the time.
Love story right
there. Love story. He was a good guy. He actually taught me a lot in life. Obviously my English got, it helped me because he didn't speak Spanish. I didn't speak English. Mm-hmm. So it was a good, thing for me.
Right.
And he knew that I had Dennis back home, and I was struggling. I wanted him with me. And there was some situations that happened at home where Dennis was taken hostage by some bad guys. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time, guys with machetes and...
How old were you?
I was 7 years old at the time. Yeah. I was sent to the store to buy some stuff, and they were just trying to rob the store, and I happened to be there at the time.
Fuck, man.
But later on, it's Guatemala. It's just at the time. In the early 90s is when it started getting really bad with the MS-13 and all that. Really? Yeah, and also just like cartels influence and things of that nature, and so it was becoming a very dangerous,
violent and dangerous,
very dangerous
for him.
place to be.
And also at the military, like it's not voluntary. They just go and grab your ass from home, and you're gonna serve in the military. Period.
Really? Yeah, they load you up on a fucking pickup truck and take you to the fucking.
And he was coming to that age. He was 12, or and 13, and I was worried about it.
Yeah.
So.
Especially gangs around that time, around that age. Yeah.
So after I married my ex, we hired a lawyer to go to Guatemala, and she did all the paperwork and all the stuff that he had been through and the possible danger. And I was already here. I had a permanent residence, but I wasn't a citizen yet. But my husband was. So because I was married to him, and now I was more financially stable than she went there, and in less than a week he joined our family. So he came. We lived in Vegas at the time.
I didn't even know I was leaving Guatemala because they just told me I was going to the capital to get my passport, and she was in and out of places, and she was like, "Yeah, you're ready to go," and I was like, ready. Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking back home. She's like, "No, you're ready to go north." I'm like, "Fuck," I didn't even say bye to nobody, man. My great grandma, she was my world, and I was afraid I wouldn't see her live.
Oh, again. You didn't get to say bye? They just right there, you got to go?
Yeah. Oh, shit, I didn't even get to say bye. She actually, I told my mom at the time, I'm like, man, I can't go. I'm like, I'm like, if I go, I won't, see her.
How old were you?
I was 14.
Yeah, that's got to be hard.
It was. It was.
And
he went through a lot.
Yeah, I just, she's actually the one that convinced me to come north because I wasn't going to come. I knew I wasn't going to see her alive, and I didn't. I actually went back and buried her a year later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she passed, and I had to go back and bury her. So that landed really hard for me. Because that's who I knew as a mother. You know what I'm saying? She raised me.
How long did it take for you to kind of make that connection with your actual mother? Did that take?
I think
you weren't with her for so long, so naturally, I'm sure you were curious and you wanted to meet her, but it's probably different. You know. What I mean?
What's crazy is like actually later on in life, I think it was kind of like Brandon. We have an amazing relationship.
Yeah.
Right now, but at the time when I transitioned here, I was all fucked up. I really, as a kid, teenager, I started...
Discipline him was hard anyway, because he's like, who are you?
Right.
We haven't been in my life.
Well, and your mom is different from a dad.
Yeah.
And I was only with my mom for 4 years because I joined the military and I was off, and then So I really, from the time I got here to the time I joined the service, it was only 4 years that I really lived with her. And, during those 4 years, I started getting into... trouble. drugs and things of that nature. And so I became sort of like very rebellious during that time.
And it was an adjustment because he didn't speak a lick of English either. At 14, it's hard enough that you're a teenager, a boy in Vegas, the school district. They didn't have any like English nothing. He was, we laugh about things now, but it was really hard for him. Like when he started going to school, and
that shit was a nightmare.
Yeah, but at least it was in Vegas, right, where there's more Hispanics.
There was no Hispanics.
I never really.
Have you ever seen the movie Pay It Forward?
Yeah. I've seen that movie.
They shot that movie at the high school that I was going to in Vegas, and it was called Centennial High School, and there wasn't a single. That's been a while. There wasn't a single. Like Latino in that. I was the only Latino in the whole school and didn't speak English. Didn't know what the hell to do with me.
My ex-husband was white, so we always lived in neighborhoods that...
Right, more suburban, white neighborhoods,
Yeah, but he struggled in school. I remember even taking the school bus back home. He will come into the neighborhood, and we lived in a neighborhood where all the houses pretty much looked the same.
Right.
And he didn't know where he was supposed to get off.
Locate the house.
He would stay in the bus, and the driver was like, "Where you go?" He'd be like, "I don't know." And then I'm driving back home from work, and then I'm going down this street, and I looked over and I see Dennis trying to get into this house, and I stop and I'm like, "Hey." And he's like, "Isn't this the house?" I'm like, "No, we're around the corner."
Oh, shit.
Man, I might as well have been in a different planet, bro, because it just felt that way. And then, my brother didn't speak English. My little sister didn't speak English. My stepfather, didn't speak Spanish. My stepfather didn't speak Spanish. So she was the only one I could speak to until I actually learned the language. Because in the neighborhood, there was no kids who spoke Spanish either. So, I was just in completely gringo land, man.
Is that what drove you to join the military, just to kind of get out? Or?
No, we bounced around.
He was bilingual in 6 months.
Oh, really?
It was amazing how he picked up the language.
Well, yeah.
Oh gosh, yes.
Well, I had to.
I know people who've been here for 20 years. They still don't speak English.
But he was exposed to it every day.
All day, every day. Yeah. So, but it was definitely a rough transition to the States, and it's taken a lot of time to just kind of, heal from that. I'm sober. I've been sober for 3 years now,
right.
But, coming to the States just kind of sent me on a spin, with substance abuse, right. Which at the time I really didn't know, but I was dealing with social anxiety. I was, and just that was just a way of coping and
right.
trying to figure out, feeling accepted and things of that nature, and so, but yeah, no, it's just, only at this stage of my life where I'm finally, dealing with some of those things, even from way back then.
How old are you?
I'm 42. I'm about to be 42.
Tell him he's getting old.
Yeah, that ain't no joke.
Well, you both take care of yourselves very well, so that's good.
Well, I got good genes, so and then she, she's also, influenced me in a lot of ways, so working out is one of those ways I feel that I pick up from my mom.
He was my sidekick running in the desert, and I used to run outdoors, and he would be trying to keep up with me. He had asthma when he first came, skinny little guy, but soon he was...
That's neat. I hope my daughter at some point does that, because I'm trying to get her to work out with me, and she doesn't want to.
How old is she?
15.
Give it time. Because I tell you what.
Because I don't know whether to push her. But she does sports, so that's good. But sometimes I want to push her. Hey, do 2 days at least. You know what I mean? But then I don't know. It's hard to judge, man.
But he took it just like that. He had adopted that lifestyle with me.
That's good.
And my daughter is very active. She's my youngest daughter. She's 30. Samantha is an amazing young lady. She is a yoga instructor, and nice. She teaches yoga abroad. She does retreats in different countries. Very, very
Costa Rica, Mexico, all over.
There's a lot of benefits of yoga. I've always wanted to do it myself. Like I hear a lot of like hot yoga and stuff like that. Yeah.
So she's very not necessarily bodybuilding, lifting, but she's very healthy, eating healthy. Even Catherine, Catherine is my niece, but I raised her as well. That's another story. I took custody of her when she was 5 years old, my sister's daughter. Yeah. And even she did competitions when until she had children. And funny enough, my son, his brother has been, that's also another story. I being the mother of a drug addict, it's been, that's, if you ask me, everything that I have been through, coming here as a young girl, coming illegal, being a victim of all these things, the most painful experience in my life is to be the mother of an addict son. And he's in jail right now.
He's in prison.
But he is working out. He's in love with the sport now. He goes, Mom, now I understand. It's like I'm ready to join you guys when I come out.
When does he get out?
April or August, depending on his behavior and classes and stuff that he's
going the drug addict thing is hard. I have a brother-in-law that he went down the same path. It started out when we were younger in our 20s and 18, 19, 20. You party. You go to these house parties, you're drinking, you start getting introduced to weed and coke and all this stuff. And then it just escalates. Some people.
It really does.
Like when I used to do that shit, it was like on the weekends only. But then I started to notice some of my friends doing it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, there's not coke around anymore. Now it's meth, And then you start doing that, and then instead of doing bumps, they start smoking it, and it just, you see that elevation, like progression. Yeah. And it's sad. And you try to talk to them. But then again, at that time, you're still partying with them. But then you're like, hey, man, don't do that shit during work, or don't do that shit on fucking Monday.
My son.
And they don't listen.
My son is 38 right now. And he's been an addict since he was 14. So it's been a long.
And some people have that gene, Like, I feel like I've been doing a lot of stuff since I'm probably around that age, But I just never. Cigarettes. I smoked cigarettes for a long time. That was a hard one to kick. But like seeing that, and just knowing the potential that individual has, and they're just throwing it away on this shit.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
That's the thing with my son. Yeah. His brother is he's so talented, freaking intelligent and talented. You'll meet him. You need to have him here when he comes out. He's got stories for days.
I have a guy coming on 2 weeks from now. He struggled with addiction, and he has a TikTok channel to where he's very open on like when he feels the want to use, or like he helps people on like what to do when you're feeling this stuff, because that addiction a lot of times for these people never goes away.
No. Once
it's the same thing like what you deal with. These addicts are dealing with as well.
Once an addict, always an addict. There's triggers, and that's when I was telling you. I'm able to identify my triggers when I'm going into that rabbit hole of feeling depressed and poor me. Right. I want to stay in bed all day. I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I mean, you can stay in bed, but I'm going out, exactly. kind of thing.
You got to have those inner battles with in
yourself.
Your head. Yeah, I have them all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like when I'm aches and pains and I need to go to the gym, I talk to my pain. I'm like, bitch, I'm going to the gym with or without you. So you better get worse or get better, because we going.
Because if you don't go, you're going to be even more pissed.
And I hurt more when I lay in bed. My neck hurts and I suffered from horrible migraines. It's been for over 20 some years. It's something I'm working on, trying to find some solution way to balance it out, and have
20 years you've been dealing with them.
Yeah. And it's like she said, I mean, she's been through a lot. With my brother, sometimes I just like, I do understand them. Trust me, I do, because I've dealt with it too. Probably to a different extent. I don't know what it is between personalities, or this a certain way that you're wired, and why in some people it just takes completely over, and how some of us are able to get out. I honestly think it's more of a divine intervention than it is willpower, because I think at some point I really did lose that sort of will, and it was controlling my life. But man, so I don't judge them at all. It's just, it was hard for me to understand, and it was hard for me to watch it happen before me, because I saw my mom struggle. So I mean, she almost ended up, having a freaking stroke in the hospital. Stroke. Yeah, from the stress and having to figure out how to, help him. But it's just not, and, I never understood, right? And everybody will tell her, like, hey, you just gotta let him hit rock bottom. But
that's kind of truth behind it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense.
But she couldn't, she couldn't. And, and I mean, he had a very bad accident, and actually was on a wheelchair for about 4 months. She took care of him during that time, and helped him get back on his feet and everything. And you figured, this time this is it. And it wasn't. And it was even a bigger relapse. And now, he's doing some time. But, Christian's always had our support, and he always will. We love him, and we can't wait to see him come out and start, being a productive member of society. We have faith and hope in him, that he is going to come out of that. And really, when he does, I mean, when Christian is dialed in, he could do so much, man. And so, but watching my mom go through that has been, because I could see that it just, I mean, that's the one thing that really wears her. You know what I'm saying? She's got the mental strength for everything, but when it comes to us, her kids, there's a very soft spot, and it hits her deeply.
Well, just like you said, it's difficult for her, like that whole rock bottom. He's a grown man, let him hit rock bottom. In a sense, that is true, because I've watched it for years. Okay. I've got friends that have lost their businesses. I got friends that have lost relationships. I have friends that have lost contact with their kids. Like, I know these people.
And lost their lives. More so.
It's, and I try to tell it, easier said than done. If I had to watch my 15-year-old,
you wouldn't let it go.
Yeah, I know. But you're going to enable.
I did that for a long time.
I know. So what is the right answer? You know what I mean? That's the thing. It's like, you let them go. 50% chance they die, 50% chance they come back. You know what I mean? You don't know. It's a flip of a coin. But if you stay, inevitably what's probably going to happen. But I feel for you, because like you said, I'm not going to let her go. And I understand that. But I still try to let myself know, it's like, but the right way is the hard thing to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But
I obviously, I think unconsciously I prayed for him to be in jail.
Right.
There was no way.
Like he was going to be safer there than out here, type of feeling. And
the best conversations that we've had, it's now with him.
Right.
But I was going to say that also maybe is two things for me. I think that culturally, we don't leave our family no matter how old we are.
Right.
My grandma and my mom lived together until my mom got married, and everybody lived in the same household. It's just a culture thing. You don't leave a soldier behind no matter what. So that's one thing. And the other is, when I was in LA suffering all those years that I didn't know how I was going to make it. He was what got me through, even without knowing.
Right.
Having my little boy, he pushed me without even, just by being there. So I felt like I owed him, I'm not going to leave you just like you didn't leave me.
Right.
No,
I get it, and I come from a mixed home. My mother's white, my dad's Mexican. So I've seen both sides of the table. But that whole culture thing of we don't abandon anybody, I've watched the side of, like, the bad side to that. Like my grandmother. Yeah. My grandfather was an alcoholic, a Vietnam War veteran, came back all fucked up. And, my grandma stuck with him, and unfortunately their kids had to pay the price of that by staying with them, and then she had to pay the price after he passed away to me, how would she have been if maybe she would have had a different life? You know what I mean?
If she didn't have that much stress.
Yeah. I mean, she suffers. I know she suffers from depression. I know she suffers from anxiety. I know she suffers probably from guilt of her decision making. And it's all because of that mindset of culture of when you're there, you don't leave. Or the old school, like back in the 40s and 50s where, there was no divorce. You put up with that shit.
Right.
Even
It's
though
crazy.
miserable.
Yeah.
How unhealthy was that?
It's insane that you're touching that subject because my great grandma was that. She, with her brothers and sisters, with her brothers mostly because they were both drunks, and I mean they pretty much run her into the ground, and they were the death of her. They were the death of her, and
that's sad because she only had one life, man.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
and actually watching my mom go through that was a trigger for me because
you saw that happening
because
to her.
Yeah, I saw that repeated pattern, and so and it was just like I couldn't understand, man, and so but it's just crazy, and you figure how you're right. It's like that question is, what is the right answer? How do you do it?
You don't know. And in the moment, it's even harder to make that answer.
But it came the point when he recovered from his accident and he was actually living at my house. And I came home one day and I knew that he did drugs all this time, but I had never seen my son actually under
the
influence so bad. It was like looking in his eyes, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was a darkness and a rage, and that he attacked me. He attacked me, and it was scary. It was very scary and painful. I had a hard time coming home and being in that room, and that, I don't know, it was a very painful experience.
Well, yeah, because he's your son. It's not like you're being attacked
and I
by
knew
somebody else.
Exactly that it wasn't him actually. Right. It was the results of the drugs.
Right.
But at that point, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And he was taken to jail. I responded. And before that, I did whatever I had to do to come up with the bail money. I always got him out.
Lawyers and, bail money, anything.
This time, I told him no.
Because imagine if you would have kept it going. Imagine if you didn't make that call.
Correct.
Could he have killed you?
Oh, yeah, he could have.
That's what I'm saying. Or hurt somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I'm like, okay, I guess this is what tough love means.
Right.
It was painful for me to tell him no whenever he called me and he would cry, and when he was detoxing in those days in jail.
Withdrawals, yeah.
Oof, it was, Oh, it was horrible. But I stood my grounds and I'm like, no, I'm not going to bail you out.
Yeah.
Not this time.
Not this time. And he actually thanks me now. He said, I had never been this free in my life.
That's good.
So.
That's good because a lot of them don't. Like, I know some guys that have been to jail and it only gets worse because they still get drugs in there.
He told me that. He says, Mom, because and I still get nervous because, I know that he can get drugs in there, but he also knows that there will be immediate consequences for it.
Or when he gets out, he's still going to have access to them as well. So he needs to learn to.
But that's when the truth will come out. And I tell him, I want to know when you're here and you have the freedom that nobody's going to know. When you're at that fork on the road that you have always gone left, are you going to go right this time?
Oh, yeah.
And he swears, right now it's all the right
words.
And he's the one who has kids, right? 6 kids, you said? And this is a thing. I just had this. I was at a baby shower. You know how Latinos like to do baby showers. Big venues, guy and girl fucking getting drunk and shit. Yeah. So we're there having a good time. But there's always that fucking guy, man, that's all cracked out, all drugged out, over there next to the DJ, drinking his ass off, and always going around showing people, oh, this is my kid, blah, blah, blah. I missed him, I loved him. And I'm sitting here listening to this guy, you know what I mean? And he's showing the picture to one of my buddies. And as soon as he leaves, I look at my buddy and I'm like, if he really loved that kid, he stopped what he was doing and he would fucking be there for that kid. Because no matter you saying it, it doesn't matter. It's like, your father, what he did to you. I'm sure he probably told you maybe that he loved you, but you're still fucking doing stuff, that is messing up that child. No different with drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like you're still continuing to do the thing that is hurting them because you're not present. Yeah. And so to not be so PC or friendly about it, you're selfish. Yeah. You are selfish, and I get these drugs are hard to get off of. I get it. I know people who have gotten injuries, who have gotten hooked on these drugs because they hand them out like candy at these hospitals. And then once the prescription stops, boom, they're out in the street looking for more.
Yeah.
I get that. But at some point, man, life can't be nerfed. There's always going to be bad. So you have to figure out how to get yourself out of it. The tool belt with tools, like we said.
Yeah.
You have to find these things when you feel that addiction coming, when you feel that
this is
want
what
to
I'm
go
gonna
out,
do. This is exactly.
hit the gym.
Yeah.
Go read a book. Watch a good video on something. You know what I mean? You got to help yourself.
But I want to believe in him, and I believe that that's what he's doing right now.
That's
good.
Good.
He's working out every day, and he asked me, Mom, how can I eat with what I have here? This is what I have access to. So he's loading up on peanut butter and tuna, and and trying to eat healthy.
Get that protein
and he's like, what should I do? I do an hour of cardio in the morning, and I lift in the evening. So he's developing habits that they didn't have. He's taking substance abuse classes, financial literacy, even in Spanish, because his Spanish is not really good. And he just picked up another class that he's, that is going to help him. So he's developing habits in there that he never gave himself the chance to do out here. So that's my hope that now he will have more tools to, okay, I'm feeling pissed. This is not going my way. I'm going to go to the gym or I'm going to go read whatever,
Yeah.
So.
And, if he ever watches this, think about the two people that are sitting in front of me, man. I mean, like when you feel like you're hurt and you want to do something to get away, you're ultimately just putting that hurt off on other people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I really hope not only him, but other people start to realize that and change, because that affects everybody around you. That drug use affects everybody, and it hurts other people.
Everyone around them.
And it can change the course of other people's life because of your decision.
I know. I was changed mine, and I mean, there was times where...
His girls, man, he's got beautiful kids, bro. These girls love him, man, and... they deserve a better version of him.
Oh, yeah.
And it's until now that he's in jail that they are developing a better relationship, because they talk to him every night. They want to talk to him, and now he's like, I'm getting to know my girls more than I did before, and he's like, I can't fail him again, Mom. He's like, I'm scared. He goes, they are there for me now. I have to be there for them.
You only have a couple of opportunities. Once you burn through those,
it's
you're
over.
fucked.
Yeah.
And so you got to keep that mindset. Also, too, the working out, it can keep you engaged, but as we know, and I'm sure you've been through as well, it gets stagnant sometimes working out. You got to have other things too. You can't just be, and some people can be all about one thing. Very rare, but some people can. To me, I got to have multiple things. Because I get a little burnt out on some things.
Same for me.
Like even right now with jiu-jitsu, there was a point where I was going 3-4 days a week. Now I'm only going once or twice a week, because you just kind of, you reach a point.
You get burned out.
Yeah, but I know I'll take some time off, do it a little bit here. I'm doing some other things, and I'll be back on the train again.
I'm involved. When I said I'm involved in the community, I'm in the executive board of the Hispanic Chamber.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the board of directors of Hope House.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the board of directors of the Sports Commission of Kansas City. The board at the zoo. So I'm involved constantly in different
Guadalupe Center.
Guadalupe Center.
Oh, okay.
So it's that's what helps me. That's my way
That's
of.
good.
So
not to mention the Healing with Helen platform, which we've been building.
What is that on? Is that on YouTube?
That is on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. Helen Ortiz Media.
Awesome.
Helen
But
Ortiz.
that is just my own experiences that I put out there. Everything that I talk about is stuff that I have been through. And
have experts that also talk about certain things. Yeah.
And to go back just a little bit as we start to kind of wrap this up, the only reason I asked you that about the connection wise, because I was actually genuinely curious, because my biological father didn't come into my life until I was 14 years old. Crazy story how I found out about that. But ended up finding out who he was very eager to meet him. You know what I mean? That kind of, I didn't know. You know what I mean? I didn't know my entire life that I had a different father. My mother chose to kind of go a route to where, he was fucking up. He wasn't taking care of his responsibilities. So she gave him a decision. He made that decision. Wasn't in my life. Yeah. And so she was like, well, he's already got a father who's taking care of him. So we'll have him, just live a normal life. We don't want him to feel different than his other brothers.
Which was your stepdad.
Yeah. He ended up adopting me. So my father's Gonzalez and he's Garcia. So that's why my last name's Garcia.
I see.
So he adopted me. And then later on I ended up finding out. And then I've never felt this connection. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to meet him because he looks like me, he's kind of like me. It's weird how much genetics play an effect, we're very similar. but I just never felt really like a bond.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
know exactly what you're saying.
And that was very hard. And unfortunately, we've kind of fell apart, you know what I mean? And due to a lot of things that I've just, the older I get, the more I'm kind of just realizing, like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, why am I trying? You know, he's kind of old school, you know, to where he thinks his children should come to him, and you know that kind of have that machismo thing that we discussed. Yeah. And I just don't play that. You know, I'm a father. I got kids. I've never abandoned them, and I've been through some shit in my relationship. You know, I've never abandoned them. I've always thought about them first, and just to me, it's like, how could you do that? You know, you're different because you did it to try to better, you know? And so I just wondered though, with that time, was it kind of hard to,
you know, with my mom, I've always had a connection with her, even when she wasn't there. I you know, and the first time I saw her, it was, you know, like, you know, I already loved her. You know what I mean?
Probably because you had that, you knew that.
Yeah,
time,
so it's different with mothers. You know what I mean? And I've always, you know, obviously with some of the history and things that happened, you know, there was some, you know, feelings that I needed to resolve. You know, and I have resolved a lot of those feelings. So I never had an issue feeling connected to my mother.
That's good.
But a lot of I feel that connection has come from common struggle too, because we've shared some of the same struggles.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so and now here in the most recent years is actually the common goals. The things that we have going on together has brought us closer
awesome.
even, and actually in our relationship has improved so much.
That's awesome.
You know, with my father, you know, I met him a handful of times when I was in Guatemala. But I made amends with the old man, you know, and we still talk from time to time. But I know what you're saying as far as feeling connection. I think very sporadically have I felt that connection with him. You know, but it's not constantly present, and I forget to even call, you know, or text, and time can go by, and it's not intentionally saying, hey, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you, you were never there in my whole life. It's not that kind of feeling. It's just there's other things that are more important, and I give energy to those things. And
did you say your biological father, or who
my
okay.
biological
before
father,
he ended up passing?
He's still alive.
He's still alive. He's in
California. Oh no, sorry, your father. Sorry.
Yeah, with my father. Yeah, and so my father, he's in California. He lives in. I met my brothers and sisters, and they're amazing, you know, human beings. I love them to pieces, you know, and so I go out to Cali every so often and spend time with them. They always, you know, welcome me with open arms and things. So
where is he at though?
In LA.
In LA.
Yeah,
okay.
and so I can't say that I have that connection.
Does that bother him?
No. You know, like honestly,
he's very oblivious.
At this point of my life, I can say, thank God, that I have no ill feelings towards any person. You know, and that has been part of the.
I was going to ask you that, because growing up in a house full of women, you know, and not having a male figure in your life, you know, kind of helped guide you, a father. You know what I mean? How did that play an effect on you? Was that difficult growing up? You know, especially teenager and.
Yeah, no, it definitely.
I guess you had your stepfather, you know, at one point.
I did, but I never had like a male influence that can like teach me the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With my stepfather, you know, we could hardly communicate, and he was a great man. He helped me with homework and things like that. Right. But you know, like I said, I had to learn a lot of things on my own. You know, it was a lot of trial and error. And you know, I realized that later on, you know, growing up with a lot of you know, that female influence. you just develop differently,
You do. I've discussed this in the
you
past,
develop differently, you're not quite the handyman, I'm sorry, I can't fix shit around the house.
Well, that too, and even like emotionally, how you handle things as well.
Sensitive.
Yeah, very sensitive.
Yeah.
Because this has been a big discussion in like single mother households.
I think estrogen is contagious.
Something, I could say that I am very in tune with my emotions. I absolutely.
But
100%.
then again, also that could be a positive as well.
Right.
With negatives, there is positives as well.
It has been, and it has allowed me to be able to, have that sensitivity to deal with my girls as a father, and be able to understand them better.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so,
I didn't have that. Like we discussed before we started, I grew up with four brothers. So
you were
that's how I was. Why are you crying all the time? Why, chill out. You're fine.
I have the ability of connecting with people, on emotional levels, and really make meaningful connections.
Right.
And so there's a lot of good traits. I watched the movie. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, the Disney movie, The Lion King. What was it? The most recent one, Mufasa, or what is it called?
I don't think I've seen it.
No, you got to check
it out. Is that the one that's like more not cartoon? It's more CGI.
Right.
Okay.
And he was actually raised with all the females because the king didn't want him to be with the males because he wanted his son to be the next king. So he thought that by putting him with the males with the females he was going to underdevelop, and he actually ended up becoming and I feel that way. I've identified with the movie quite a bit because I'm like
crying.
I was.
I cry a lot during movies, so I don't blame you.
I was, but I was just like, what a privilege to have been exposed to such strong women in my life. Like my great grandma, Mama Tila, my mom, and my grandma, and just some of these personalities that have shaped me, and that I have shaped me into the man that I am now. Yeah. And I wouldn't change that for anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of the man I've developed into, and I couldn't have done that without that influence, you know what I'm saying? Good. Especially in some of the early years.
Right.
The first 14 years of my life, man, in Guatemala. And so like I'm very thankful for that experience. I wouldn't change anything. I love my mother to pieces. We have a great relationship. I'm her number one advocate. I'm out here helping her push her story and helping her build things, and we're building something meaningful for ourselves and for those people that depend on us, you know what I'm saying? And really changing the narrative of just this constant struggle in our family line where there's just, no happy endings. And we're like, you know what? Why does that has to be a reality for us? We have everything at our disposal to be able to, create something here. And we were just talking about it not that long ago where I'm like, it all comes back full circle because all this shit has happened, and it feels like now life is giving us the keys to our destiny, and we're getting to do the things. Because we're getting ready to launch a commercial real estate company. We're actually doing the launch party. You're invited January 8th.
I appreciate it.
We'll send you an invite. I'm starting a commercial cleaning company. We're gonna Healing with Helen is gonna go be a nonprofit organization.
Nice.
And we're doing all these exciting things that before we didn't even see as a possibility. You know what I'm saying? And so just being able to because like I said, there's no precedence in our family line. There's no examples of that. You know what I'm saying? And so we're just writing our stories now, and this is where the better part of the story begins. Right. And I'm just like, man, I'm just stoked for it. You know what I'm saying?
And I just want to say that I am, he's my rock, definitely, and I couldn't be more proud of my son. To see what everything that he's been through, and to look at the man and the father and the son that he is, the brother that he's become, my heart is just full of joy.
No,
I couldn't. We talk like 500 times a day. If he doesn't answer, I'm like, "Are you okay?" If I don't answer, "Hey, Mom, are you okay?" So
I do. That's beautiful. I'm really glad that both of you came on. I think this is I think you guys are setting a good example of a mother and son a bond. You know what I mean, and how it should be, and how it's not impossible to have that. With everything that you guys have gone through, and still have come out and took control of your own destinies. And said, maybe life did give you that key, but you made the decision, and you made the decision to grab that and start to open up the door to both of your guys' new life, So that's beautiful, man. And there's a lot of people out there that really wish that they had that bond with their parents, you know what I mean? Because as a lot of us have dealt with, there's a lot of good parents, but there's more than just to being a parent. There's more than just saying no to stuff or disciplining or whatever it may be. You have to create. And I know they say, I hear this all the time from people. I'm not their friend. I'm their mother, or I'm their father. I have always argued, and I think there's a way to have both. You got to have
there's
kind
of
a balance
between, absolutely.
That. Yeah, because if not, then you're going to wonder why when they grow up, they don't come around.
Maybe that was okay before,
right?
But
different times.
At the evolution, you have to
evolve with the times.
Exactly, adapt to the new, because your children are not the same. Like when you used to be a kid.
Yeah,
and
times have changed.
Times have changed.
And my thing is like it's never too late. Like even if you're a parent right now and your kids are older, you can still develop that relationship and that bond.
Absolutely.
You just have to do the work. That's it, and have to try. Because to me, in my mind, yes, my kids piss me off. My kids irritate me, especially my oldest at times can do some things where but they're your kids, man. You know what I mean? And they're going to let you down. They're going to make mistakes. But in the end, it's never late, especially as older as your children get. You've seen, they'll develop, and that bond can be created to where.
And one thing that I will tell people, if they don't take anything else out of this, is that you got to be able to talk about openly
the hard stuff.
We have had some conversations that are not very comfortable.
That make you feel uncomfortable.
Exactly, but we have to address it because we know that it's there and we both feel it.
Like you said, you got to rip that. That Band-Aid off.
And so it just communication. Don't push everything under the rug. Talk it out.
100%.
I'm glad you said that. That is the biggest thing, man.
That is the key.
But adults have a hard time, especially when you're older. You know what I mean? Because you've lived so long this way. It's hard to look in the mirror. Yeah, it's hard to look in the mirror and really subject yourself.
And accept that. It's been hard for me sometimes to accept, like, okay, fucked up. I got to admit it, and what can I do to make it better?
But at least you admitted it.
Exactly.
Right.
Some won't.
Exactly.
And,
you know what I mean?
That has been, I think, the biggest blessing and the reason why our relationship developed into what it is now.
Right.
Is being able to go to those places and talk about it. Yeah. And I am so
let him go.
And I am so thankful that we've been able to go there, because her with her mother, I don't know if they're ever going to be able to go there, because some people are just not capable of. I know. And so I am so glad, and I think, and when I said that is the key, it hasn't been just the key to our relationship. It has also been the key to our destinies, because we were able to clear that up. We were able to come together and start creating,
and grow together,
and start creating,
and try to build this
get
future
to this
for the younger generations. We have plenty of people to influence and to make sure that they are successful.
Right. Yeah, and this relationship has been so important because where we're at right now, I couldn't got here without her.
And vice versa.
And she couldn't have got here without me. And so, and it's just that we needed each other to get here.
Right.
Our weaknesses and our strengths is what makes us, successful. And now I never thought that at 60 years old I will be reinventing myself to be,
entrepreneur.
And
then you're a perfect example of what we're discussing. It's never too late.
It's never too late. I was just a keynote speaker at Union Station a couple of weeks ago for the Global Entrepreneurial Week, and that was the theme. It's a legacy reinvention at any age, and it was very interesting. What people come and talk to you after. Oh wow, really? I didn't know that you did. Gosh, I've been reinventing myself since I remember coming here at 7. You're never too young or never too old.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Never too young to start, never too old to start. I came here at 17 years old to literally start my world all over again. I started going to the gym when I was 35 years old. I started
and look at you at 60, still working out.
I'm still stepping on a stage with 20, 30, 40 years old and kicking their asses.
I know. You know how many guys that are like 35, 40 that I'm too old for that shit? Hey, shut the fuck up. Okay? Hey, shut the fuck up.
or the women that tell me, oh my God, I can't do abs anymore. I had a C-section.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Then I show them the picture of my stomach when I had cancer because I was cut from hip bone to hip bone.
Oh, really?
So it took me for freaking ever to build my core and be able to, even to this day, I have to be very creative how I do my ab work because I cramp. I have a mesh in there and it's very hard. So there's no excuse. I'm like, there's no...
Just adapt.
That's what I can never... People ask me, why don't you train people? It's so inspiring. I can't be a trainer because I don't have tolerance for bullshit.
I don't blame
Excuses.
You. Hey, maybe you'd be a perfect trainer then.
I did it for a year and I had no clients left. I fired everybody.
At least you're real.
I won't be there because I'm sore. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Or it's been 3 weeks and I don't see any changes. Well, how long did it take to be a heifer like that? So
what have you been eating since I'm not with you?
I know. On the weekend, it will come back. How was your weekend? What did you eat? Well, I'm like, stop right there. I already know.
Hey, you would have fired me. I like sweets too much in Starbucks. So
yeah, man.
Hey,
crazy.
Well, thank you two. I really appreciate it. I know there's probably a ton of more stories that you guys both have. You're welcome to come back on.
We'll come back sometime after
welcome.
we open our company and we have we want to talk about the entrepreneurial side of it too.
Oh yeah.
I know there's a lot of people out there that want to start something, they don't know how, or even just helping the community and people think that they can't have their own their first building, their first there is ways to do things. It's just like in our community more than anything, Hispanic community, what keeps us behind is lack of information and lack of education, and that's what I want to bring. That I've always believed in that, and that's what I bring to the table is that I don't mind taking a client that needs help for 3-6 months to be ready to buy their first business. Building, right. So that's what I want to do different in my business. I don't want to work just for my commission and then bye-bye. I want to be a partner with that person. I want to be part of their success.
Right.
So...
Right.
We'll talk about it some other time, but we will invite you when we have our...
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And then also, if they want to hear more, I'm sure there's going to be more on, what was it called again?
Healing with Helen.
Healing with Helen.
Yes.
So they can go there, I'm sure, and hear a lot more about you. And are you going to be on there as well? Is it just...
Healing with Helen, no. That's
just
that's her platform, her idea, and I'm just supporting her.
Hey, well, I will say, just a suggestion. You two are great together, especially podcasting wise, and I think it'd be great to see some more of.
I already thought about that.
Yeah,
honestly,
really.
Well, I've been doing the ozone layer with Rhett and whatnot, and
ozone layer as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the possibilities are endless, man.
Maybe not now, but maybe down the road.
I tell you what, I wouldn't count it out. I enjoy working with her, so and creating value and just these projects have really becoming very fulfilling to both of us, and we're just gonna keep at it, man.
Really quick before we go, I just want to know how to bring about why that.
Oh, I named it that because during discussion, I like to bring about different ways of different feelings, different ways of thinking, different stories, So it was just kind of like be honest, I was thinking of a name forever. And I just, every time I would look, somebody would have it, and then I just kind of came up with that. It was actually supposed to be called The Bring About.
No,
but
I like that
there was a studio. So I just, when I talk, I notice that there's a lot of things that get brought about, out of conversation.
Yeah, it's like to talk about
today.
Like today. And if you watch my podcast, it's all over the place. Many different stories from every different walks of life, many different ideologies and ways of thinking and people. And that's the beauty in it, because even in it all, we're all kind of similar in a way. We all have similar ambitions and goals and wants, you know what I mean? So hopefully over time, after people continue to come on here, they can kind of see that pattern of, hey, we're not so different after all. We just maybe a little bit here and there in our story. You know what I mean?
maybe I can have you on Healing with Helen one of these days.
Yeah, I'll come on.
Absolutely.
I'll be on.
And I, just before we check out, I wanted to, just, your listeners, invite them to follow her, IFBB Pro, Helen Ortiz, and Facebook. And
I'll have everything in the show notes.
And Instagram, and Helen Ortiz Media and YouTube. So we're really trying to build the brand right now.
Yeah.
And so everything we've done so far has been organically, and, it's getting a lot of traction. So I would appreciate that they will follow her on her channels.
And go check out Ozone Lair as well.
Yeah, that's
Thank
right.
you.
That's right.
And thank you to your help back there too.
Yeah,
Don back there. Yep. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.